It's a good thing I love making necks, because I make a lot of necks. Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching another episode in the Let's Build Necks, Fender style necks out of mahogany. And today, well, I wanted to do neck shaping. The whole point of this video is to show you how nice it was to work with mahogany as a neck wood. And I think you guys have all caught on to all that by now, but today we're not even going to do anything with the mahogany. We're going to do stuff with the fretboard, and we are going to radius the fretboard. This one's already been done because it's like a cooking show, right? I show you what I did and then I show you how to do it. We're going to radius the fretboards and we're going to press frets in. So this one's already been radiused. This one has not. Remember, this one's kind of the telly version. It's got the flat heel and the slightly littler headstock. This is, it's not really, but this is like the Strat version. It's got a slightly bigger headstock and a rounded heel. Okay, but they're both 22 fret necks. They both have black poison wood fretboards. They both have mahogany for the necks. These are going to be neat necks when they're all done. It's been a while because we've had classes and stuff, so I kind of forgot where I am, but I'm just going to jump right in and just assume you guys remember. If not, you can go back and watch the videos. There's 2 or 3 so far, so go back and watch them if you forgot or if you haven't watched them, and let's do some fret work. So first thing we got to do is we have to figure out what, if any, radius we want on the fretboard. Now, could you do it with no radius? Yeah. And I have, and it's actually pretty neat. Most people don't notice, but a lot of people, when they find out it's flat, they're like, I don't know if I want a flat fretboard, so we're going to radius this, okay? But a flat fretboard, I call it the infinity radius, definitely works, and you could definitely do it. So don't worry if you don't have the tools I'm about to use to radius this. Let's talk about the radius that we're going to use. I'm going to use 12 because my machine's set up to do 12. My machine can do 7 1/4, 10, 12, 14, or 16, or a conical radius with any of those measurements. So if you wanted to do like say a 7 1/4 on this end and 10 inch on this end, you could. Or if you wanted to do 7 1/4 on this end and 16, you could. If you wanted to do it backwards for some cuckoo reason, you could. You could also do this with a hand tool, but hand tools suck, so we're not going to do that. The tool that we're going to use is my swinging arm radius sanding apparatus, and it's all set up. We're going to go in and I'm going to show you how that works. Then we're going to press some frets in. We're going to bend the fret wire. This is the fret wire that we're going to be using. We're going to bend it. We're going to cut it. We're going to size it. All that other stuff, and we're going to press the frets in. So let's get started. One thing that I want to advise you guys of is you'll notice there's no inlay on this fretboard. If you're planning on putting dots on the face, if you're planning on putting dots in the face, now's a great time to do it before you radius it. That way, especially if you have a power tool, that way when you put the dots in, you radius the whole shoot and match together and it's all done. I'm not saying you can't do it the other way, but I prefer to do it this way. Don't worry about side dots just yet. In fact, I want you to wait to put side dots in until you radius it, because what can happen, you guys wouldn't do this, but it could happen to where you put the dots in and they're a little too high and you radius it and now your side dots become side dots and face dots and it's not in a cool way. The other thing is somebody's going to go, hey Matt, if you're not going to shape that neck, it's flat, why are you doing that? And fretting it first. Because it's easier to fret these necks when they're flat on the bottom. Someone's going to say this to me for the 100th time. I saw a video where Paul Reed Smith said, that's them talking, about how Paul Reed Smith shapes the necks before he frets them. It's cool. It's great to be Paul Reed Smith. That guy knows everything about guitars and building guitars in Maryland. But I don't live in Maryland. I live in Colorado, and it's a lot drier here. So what works for me may not necessarily work for Mr. Smith and all of the good people that work for him. This works for me. We've been doing it like this for over a decade. Never had any issues. And so yeah, so if you live in Maryland, do it like Paul. If you live where I live, or you live somewhere dry, or just want to do it the way I do it, I shape the neck after I fret the neck. Okay, so let's go into the wood shop, and I'm not gonna talk during this. Famous last words. I'm not gonna talk during this. I'm just gonna let the camera run, and I'm gonna radius the fretboard, and you're gonna see it in action. Couple things. First sanding belt that I'm gonna use is a 60 grit. Second sanding belt I'm going to use is 150 grit. I have to kind of work the machine a little while, and you're going to see it all in action. Who knows how much I'll leave in there. Let's go to work. All right, well, just like that, our fretboard's radius. Now, a couple of things happened during my radiusing, and I'm going to tell you what they are. One, if you guys might have seen it, my the headstock end of my neck kind of wiggled loose from the two-sided tape that was holding it down. Okay, so that happens every so often. It gets cold, you know, the neck has some funk on it, and it just breaks free of the tape bond. But what had happened was it kind of came loose and sagged on the belt. Now, remember when I said hand tools suck? That wouldn't have happened if you're using hand tools. But what happened is that this corner of my fretboard kind of was allowed to ride on the belt for a little while. So I had to go back and make the redo the radius, which means I took a little more off the top of the fretboard. Not a big deal, okay? It's going to be just fine. But now you're going to want to pay, if something like that happens, you're going to want to pay close attention to the depth of your fret slots. You can chase that with a handsaw if you want. But even if that doesn't happen, that's a great time. Now's a great time to follow or kind of chase your fret slots with a little Japanese saw or a little miter saw, and just make sure they're deep enough, because once you start filling these fret slots in with glue and mashing in frets, if your fret slot isn't deep enough, it's going to be too late. Now, what I'm doing right now, as I've been talking to you guys, is I'm just chamfering the corners, the inside corners of the fret slots. That way my frets fit in nice and easy. It's not for the next guy who's going to refret this. If it benefits the next guy, that's cool. If it doesn't, we don't care. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to size my frets by putting them in the fret slot and cutting them a little bit proud. I think I'm going to do both of these necks with the same way that Fender does. Whoops. The same way that Fender does, and that is I'm not going to undercut the fret ends. Now, you could undercut the fret ends if you wanted to, and that would be a classy touch, but I don't think that it's going to be necessary on these two necks, given what these two necks are going to be. Okay, but imagine, if you will, you could just undercut the fret slots, and then that way you wouldn't have any fret ends poking out, and you would need to think about filling those in with something, right? So, like I say, the majority of the necks that Fender makes do not have undercut fret wire. I'm sure they make some that have them, but yeah, these are. I think we just kind of want to do a down and dirty thing. So, and it's not a big deal to undercut. You guys have seen me do that 100 million times. So really, I just kind of want to make this video be done. You know what I mean? Okay. So once we get all the frets cut to the right size, then we're going to get some CA glue, and we're going to flood the fret slots with CA glue, and we're going to press the frets in. We are not going to hammer the frets in. We are going to press the frets in. I think that hammering frets in is something that you can get good at. I don't want to get good at it because I have a fret press and I've hammered in my share of frets. But I think that if you look on the internet and you read books, you will find people that say that Joel Danzig is as you guys know, an inspiration to me. And Joel says that if he goes in and doesn't see a swinging arm radius sander and sees a bunch of people hammering in frets, he runs away from those guitars. I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea. The idea is that it's easier to press in frets than it is and get it right than it is to hammer in frets and get it right. Because you can apply more even pressure with a fret press than you can by bashing them in with a hammer. If you don't have a fret press and you don't want to buy one, you can buy a hammer for a lot less money. But if you want your frets to be as good as they possibly can, I would absolutely positively recommend you get a fret press. And if you get a fret press, may I advise that you get one of these. Hold on, let me get some light on here. Get one of these fractal fret press calls, and you can buy these now at Stuart McDonald. I've actually got the production model on its way to me. These are a couple of pre-production samples that I got, and I've been using these for a long time. I really like them. The neat thing is they articulate, okay, and if you have a conical radius fretboard, they articulate to the conical radius, or if you have a straight radius, they'll work with that too. So it's just a great way to have one call that does it all. Okay, like I said, they just picked them up at StewMac, and you can get yours. I think you can get yours today. I think. So what we're going to do, gang, is we're just going to put a little glue in the fret slots. I'm going to do one here, and we're going to let our fret rest in the slot, and then I'm going to run out of room here. And then we are going to press. This is the wrong board to do, but I already got glue in my slot. We're going to press the fret in. Okay, now when I do this for real, I'm going to not use a radius call. And there we go. Our fret's pressed in nice and tight. I'm going to wipe off that excess glue, and we'll do the rest of them. Okay, I got one of my necks done, and I'm going to do the next one with my camera facing down. I'm probably going to speed this footage up, and while I'm doing this, I'm going to be listening to Starcrawler, a song called I Love LA, and you guys should check them out. All right, did you guys listen to that band? They're cool, right? So I'm done with both my my necks, and my super glue, my CA glue, my StewMac number 20, was set to turbo dump, I think, because I got glue on everything. So you can see on the fretboard there's a buttload of glue. Someone's going to go, oh, that guy wrecked it. He put way too much glue on there. Don't sweat it. We're going to scrape all this off with a razor blade, and any of the glue that I got on the side of the neck, and there's some, is going to come off when we shape the neck. Yet another reason to put to press the frets in first. So I'm going to show you one more trick, then we're going to wrap this video up, and that is I'm going to trim the ends of these frets, and then I'm going to show you how to, the fastest way I can think of to put to dress the ends of these frets, okay? And that is to say to get all the sharp little bits off, get rid of the fret ends, and put the chamfer on the ends of the frets as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim them with my my StewMac fret nippers. And the next thing I'm going to do is using my 120 grit belt on my oscillating sander here. I'm going to even up all the frets, and I'm just going to hold my neck at a slight angle and put my chamfer on there. By the way, I got that idea from an episode of How It's Made when they visited the Godin guitar factory in Canada. And they didn't even trim the ends. They just mashed it against a sander and removed the excess frets. So this can be a little bit scary if you haven't done it before. You could probably like rig up some kind of, special angle thing. I just go for it. And if I get really OCD, I'll use my file that's held at a 30-degree angle, and I'll chase it after this. And in fact, I might do that on these. But really, that gets rid of a bunch of the handwork. So if you feel like giving this a shot, I absolutely recommend it. All right, gang. So these necks are looking pretty good. In the next video, I promise we'll start to shape and profile the necks, and you'll go, oh yeah, that's why we started doing these mahogany necks in this video series. So guys, if you have any questions about what we did, please leave them in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you need to do so right now, okay? Please just do it, subscribe to the channel. A lot of people watch the videos and aren't subscribed. It's not a big deal, but it helps me out if you do subscribe. It helps me out if you leave a comment too, so if you want to tell me how cool I look, or if you want to tell me I should get a new shirt, or if you want to tell me I'm doing it wrong and invite people over to your channel to watch, well then by all means do. But until next time, this is your old buddy Uncle Matt reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. We'll see you next time, guys. Have a great week.